Good evening, guys. Good evening. Pray all is well. I wanted to come to you guys with a word tonight before we end it tonight. Acts chapter 13, beginning in verses, I believe 45, 46. And it talks about as Paul and Barnabas begin to come to an end of their sermon. They talk to some devout Jews. They tell them to continue, Barnabas, continue to do what you guys are doing and preaching the word. It says the next Sabbath, the crowds get larger and larger. There's even more people wanting to hear the word of God that Paul and Barnabas have begun to teach. But it says that some people, they get jealous. They get jealous of the crowd and the following. And it says that they begin to just talk to Paul and Barnabas very bad, disrespectful, begin to just talk down upon them. But it says our boys Paul and Barnabas, it says they come at them hard. They says, hey, we came to you first. We came to bring you the truth. We came to bring the gospel to you first. But since you rejected it, it says we went to the Gentiles. We went to somebody who was a little bit more hungry about the word of God than you were. It says we came to you first, but since you rejected it, we went to the Gentiles. What is the message for you guys tonight? Man, you had the same opportunity. You had the same opportunity, but you had the wrong perspective. You were granted the same blessing, but you just didn't have the right determination. You were granted the same grace, but you just wasn't as focused as the other person was. You were granted the same blessing and opportunity and chance, but you just was not hungry and passionate enough as the other individual. You were granted the same word, but you just wasn't positive enough. You were granted the same grace, but you just had the incorrect perspective. As I was meditating on this word tonight, I was reminded of my senior year in football, and we were playing Crowley High in Everman, home field, but we were down by 21 points. We were down by 21 points, and to be honest with you, it almost seemed as if the game was over. It almost seemed as if we were not going to win. We didn't have a chance to win. And I remember us being backed up. We were on our own 20-yard line, and counter right was called. Tim Jackson gets the ball. He was at wing back. Big shout out to Tim Jackson. He gets the ball. He takes the reverse. And once he takes the reverse, he runs to the right side of the field. And when he runs to the right side of the field, Crowley stops us. They stop him. And right before he was going to get tackled, he looks back and he pitches me the ball in the far backfield. Well, I take the ball and I begin to run. And I believe the play was 80 yards, and I scored a touchdown. And that one play right there gave us the momentum to help us to come back from a 21-point deficit and eventually win the game. What is the message for you guys tonight? Well, many who would have been placed in the position of Tim Jackson, they would not have done what he did. They wouldn't have had the perspective that he had. The perspective that Tim had gave us the momentum to win that game that night because it kept us in the fight. What is the message for you guys tonight? You have to have the right perspective. Some of us, a word has been spoken, a word has been declared, a word has been decreed, a word has been placed in your life. But you know what you're doing with it? You are questioning the word that has been spoken. You are doubting the word that has been spoken. You have to do as what Tim did. You have to have the right perspective. And then once you have the right perspective, then the second thing you must do what I did. When he pitched me the ball back, I took the ball and I ran with it. I ran with it until I got to the end zone. So what am I telling you, man? When the word is spoken over your life, when the word word is declared over your finances, when the word is declared over your health, when the word of God is declared over your situation, you have to have the right perspective. And then the second thing you must do is you must take off running with it. And you can't stop running until you get to the place that God has for you. That is the word for you tonight. Many of you are in position. Many of you are in place, but you just don't have the right mindset. So I'm coming to you tonight. And as I touch my head, I pray that God begins to change your perspective, change the perspective of your mindset, change the perspective of how you see things, change the perspective of how you speak, change the perspective of how you see, change the perspective of your faith right now. See, somebody can look at a cup and they can see two different things. One can see a cup that's half empty, and the other one can see a cup that's half full. I want you to begin to look at your situation, look at your circumstance with a positive outlook, regardless of what the world is saying, regardless of what everybody else around you is saying. You have to have a positive outlook. And I know some are saying, Marcus, man, I've been holding on to the word, but it seems like I'm losing. Man, but you know what? Even when you lose, you still win. That doesn't make sense, Marcus. How can I win even when I lose? Because you have gained new wisdoms. You have gained new insights. When I lose in life, you know what happens? It gives me new knowledge of that situation, because the situation is going to present itself again. But see, now when it presents itself to me with more wisdom, more insight, and more understanding. So I no longer make the mistake that I made in a previous time that I make today. See, because I've learned. So even when you've lost, you still won. Yes, God. New perspective. That is the message for you guys tonight. Have the right perspective. So when the word is passed to you, when the word is spoken to you, when the word is declared over your life, then you take it and you run with it, and you don't stop running until you get to the place that God has for you. That's the end zone. And that's where I got that night many times. So that is the word for you guys tonight, man. You take that word of God and you hold on to it for dear life. Marcus, I need some word. Give me some word, Marcus. Some of my favorite verses. Although the beginning is humbling, the future will be prosperous. So right now, you may be going through hell. You may be going through high water. Look at my boy Job. In the end, prosperity is what he saw. He will never place more on you than you can bear. Yes, you may be going through trials and tribulations, but the weight that is on your shoulders, the weight that he has placed on you, it's a weight that you can bear, because if he wouldn't have given it to you, then you couldn't have bared. I need some more word, Marcus. Give me some more. If you knock, doors shall be open. And if you ask, you shall receive. What am I telling you? You have to begin to knock. You have to begin to ask God and bring back to his remembrance, his promises. Begin to declare it, man. Begin to knock. Begin to ask for it, man. That is the word for you, man. Begin to speak it and begin to hold on it. Hold on to it and run. Run as young Rocket Man ran that night. Man, run for dear life until you get to the place that God has for you. I love you guys, man. Be blessed.